is not material, that he has spiritual qualities that are so attractive, then one becomes a Vaishnava. Therefore, if I may, there's this other, really important verse that kind of exemplifies this point. Where did I put it? Atapi de deva padam budam vaya prasada visham grihita urahi janati tatvam bhagavam mahino nachana ego pichiram vichambam. No, I'm sorry. No, there's... You have to excuse me, I made this outline in a very quick way. And the point is, Krishna has transcendental attributes. And because Krishna has transcendental attributes, they attract even the liberated souls. That's the point. So therefore, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, being an impersonalist, becomes a Vaishnava. And the Bhagavatam, our scriptures, have so many examples of that. The four Kumars, they were impersonalists, and they smelled the lotus leaves offered to Krishna. They became Vaishnavas. The 9 Yogendras is another example, Shukadeva Goswami. And Prakashananda Saraswati, sannyasi guru of, how many disciples he had? 10,000? 10,000 sannyasi disciples. And obviously, Mayavadi becomes a Vaishnava by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya here is another example. To come to the conclusion that actually, wait a second, the Brahman effulgence is not everything. Krishna is not an ordinary person. Krishna's form is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, and his qualities are all attractive. And therefore, there's this other thing, this verse, Atmaramas Chamunayo, Nirgranta Apirukrame, Pravantya Haitukim Bhaktim Itam Bhuta Guno Hari. All different varieties of Atmaramas, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though free from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. And the key point in this verse is, this means, Sutta Goswami says, this means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls. And so therefore liberated souls take pleasure in seeing the form of Krishna and accepting Krishna as a transcendental entity. Varhapidam Natavaravatu Karna Yokarmikaram Vipradbhasa Kanakapdisham Vajayantim Shamalam Randram Denu Ludavarazam Gopa Vrindaya Vrindaranyam Sapadaраmanam Pravishati Takirti. This is a description that many acharyas like in terms of the complete description of Krishna. There's a verse that Dravida Prabhu from the San Diego temple. Have you heard of Dravida Prabhu? Mm-hmm. He's a great learned scholar. He knows so many verses. We were taking some verse memorization seminar with him, and he says you should learn this verse. So just listen to this, okay? Just try to focus on this description of Krishna. It's totally complete, just like the songs of Radha Madhava. So this is one verse that gives a beautiful description of Krishna. Transcendental. Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vaijayanti garland. Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. So for us, that's not material. For us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that's the absolute truth. There's nothing beyond it. And to have a personal relationship with that personality who fills the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, is the summum bonum of self-realization. And the mere thought of trying to just merge into some white light is like, what? Excuse me? Hello? Can't you get a life? But life is bhakti. Life is devotional service. So how does this transformation take place? How does an impersonalist become a personalist? Well, by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. That's a small point we can speak about very quickly. The transformation from any state, a gross sense enjoyer, to a hardcore impersonalist, takes place by the mercy of the Lord. Therefore, that verse that I quoted this verse in a mistaken way, the Atapite Devapatam Bhujam Hare. In my Lord, if one is favored even by a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, then he can understand you. But otherwise, those who speculate to try to understand the supreme truth are unable to know you, even if they study the Vedas forever and not forever, for many years. So either the Lord himself comes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for example, or his great empowered devotee. Or even not even greatly empowered devotee, even a slightly empowered devotee who I received a book in Los Angeles airport. Some devotee gave me a free book when I was 8 years old. And then another one when I was 19. And he's probably not a Paramahamsa. He was empowered to a slight degree and then I'm able to render some devotional service to Krishna. So it happens by the mercy. So how glorious are the devotees? How glorious is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? We should always appreciate that because I think most of us here weren't born into Vaishnava families. And even if we were born into a Vaishnava family, still there's some more advanced devotee who gives us mercy and reveals Krishna to us. It's not that if you're born a devotee, then you don't depend on the Vaishnava's mercy. You do. And you even take a guru, a senior devotee. Another little angle I wanted to touch upon. There are 3 tiny points. We're kind of like seen from a different angle on this verse. The first one is this. Even though Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya condemns the impersonal realization, even though Srila Prabhupada made very heavy statements sometimes, condemning impersonalists, and even though from a philosophical point of view we simply do not agree with the conclusion of the Mayavadis, it is interesting that Lord Rishabhadev in the 5th canto has a certain amount of respect and tells us we should have a certain amount of respect. Of course, we're supposed to have respect for all living entities, even ants. But Rishabhadev, in his teachings to his sons, he says, one can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are impersonalists and devotees. Whether one wants to merge into the Lord's existence or wants to associate with the personality of Godhead, one should render service to Mahatmas. So impersonalists, seen from one point, are great souls. They're spiritualists. They're transcendentalists. Therefore, the injunction is there that even Mayavadi sannyasis are supposed to offer obeisances to them. And so as devotees, again, we respect everyone, and even the impersonalists. Not that, oh, you're Mayavadi, you're a demon. For example, His Holiness Radhanath Swami is currently doing a tour of North America to publicize his really great book, The Journey Home. And he's going through all these different yoga studios, and they're all impersonalists. But what's his attitude towards them? Actually, in that book, the brilliance of that book, I think, one of the brilliance of that book is that you don't see a single criticism of the Mayavadi Siddhanta in that book. Although the whole book practically is about his encounters with Mayavadis.